what's up, guys? It's your boy Schizomanic here, back at it again with another Pokemon Journeys episode review. Hey, sorry. Don't mind the balloons. My birthday was June 16th, and my sister thought it was nice to buy me these giant 29 balloons. I'm in my boxes, so you're probably going to see it. I'll go ahead and show it to you so you can see it. It's irrelevant to the episode review, but hell, it's in here, so why not? I don't even know if that's the right angle. I don't think it is, huh? Yeah, I think that's it. Well, actually, it probably looks the other way, so maybe I should flip it for you guys. That should be 29, I hope, to you. 29 years old. Yeah, so just to bring context so people don't ask why the hell I still have balloons in my room. I just turned 29. So, let's get into this episode. This episode actually had a lot of shit riding on it, considering it's the first recognizing a previous canon. Well, I guess let me rephrase that. It's recognizing a previous canon outside of, like, Johto Kanto shit. Because obviously we had the Lieutenant Surge reference one with the substitute gym leader for Vermilion City. But this is the first time a region outside of Kanto and Johto has been referenced in terms of past events with our gym leader. In English dub speakers know her as Karina. I think in Japanese she's just called Corny, which is it's kind of a fucked up name, but the point is her name is Karina. Now, for those who know, I don't have that big of an affinity for X and Y at all. So my excitement about this episode was more so just seeing a cool fight. I didn't really give a shit about the references because I don't care. I don't care about the X and Y cast for the most part. But I do recognize in the games and in the anime, she was probably one of the most developed gym leaders. So I was like, okay, cool, if that's the one you're going to pick. If it has to be a Kalos gym leader, I'm cool with it being Karina, right? We get into the episode, and I probably would say it's kind of disappointing. Thanks to our friend TSS Killer, we could watch the episode live when it first aired. So I've watched it twice. I watched it without subs, and then I watched it a little bit ago with subs. That battle is probably the thing that kills the episode. I like the characterization with Karina and Riolu and Lucario. I like that whole dynamic. The fact that, like, Go's hanging out with the grandpa. The Go stuff is just not interesting to me because catching Pokemon by itself, and especially in the Let's Go model of catching Pokemon, is not an interesting thing to watch. So that will never, like, get high praise from me. Unless they have battles to catch the Pokemon. Hell, at this point, when he throws the balls in this episode, for one, they're still shot zoomed the fuck out. And then on top of that, you don't even get the wiggling of the Pokeball to go ding, like it confirmed the capture. Literally, he's just throwing the ball. Go! 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 Like, it's just not an interesting thing to me. Like, the Flabebe thing is kind of cool because Flabebe has different colors, but, like, it's not an interesting concept. So the most interesting stuff is the Karina Ash stuff. And the weird mock filler-ish battle he has in the beginning with a guy with a Clawitzer. And I was kind of like, the battle in the beginning is kind of some weird filler-ish nonsense. And then we get to the main fight with Karina and Ash. And personally, the two things that irk me is I feel like you downplayed Gengar in this fight, which is some bull. They tend to do this in anime fights sometimes in Pokemon where, like, when they obviously have a Pokemon that is meant to be the star of the show, they'll essentially brush aside the other Pokemon in that fight. So an example, Ming looks cooler. Ming Chao. Ming Chao looks cooler in this fight, but it downplays the fuck out of Gengar. And then Dragonite obviously was meant to be the jobber of this fight, which makes sense because Dragonite hasn't had a lot of fights in the anime. So I get him being the focus. I just don't think you need to downplay the fuck out of Gengar. Also, I feel like the battle should have been like a two-parter. I feel like Karina has deserved that. For one, like I said, being the standout gym leader in X and Y. And two, it's a reoccurring character. Like, give her, especially considering when we found out the next episode preview is a Magikarp episode again. And I'm like, bro, like, give her the respect she's owed. So, like, give her a two-parter. But the first thing is I don't like the way Gengar was handled. They disrespected the fuck out of my boy. And I was like, bro, how dare you? How dare you? I do like the fact that they were out of their balls, and I like the fact that like Riolu is like very pumped up and excited when he sees the Lucario. Lucario is kind of like an inspiration for him. That shit's cool. I fuck with all. Realistically, characterization-wise, I don't have really any issues. It's that fucking fight. That fucking fight. And I was way more negative last night than I probably am now. The only reason why I'm not as negative now, but I still think it's kind of a weak fight. The animation in the second half of it's pretty good. No bullshit like the power-up punches and the Dragon Claws, and that shit looks nice. But man, you disrespected my boy Gengar, and then you had Dragonite win, and then the way it was animated and portrayed in the anime, it feels like Dragonite shouldn't have won that fight. Now here's the thing, I don't want to get it twisted. I don't have an issue with Dragonite winning the fight. I don't have an issue with Lucario winning the fight. I don't even care about that shit. I know a lot of people are going to get mad at this episode because of Serena and Clement and Bonnie not being mentioned whatsoever or referenced at all, which we should already know that's how this goes. Like, that's usually how it works. They don't reference a lot of the older characters unless they're meant to be important. So they didn't. So I'm not holding that against the episode. I'm just thinking it's a weak fight for Pokemon 2019 standards. For example, Tyrone Legat 3 was kind of comparing it to the X and Y battle gym match that Ash had with Karina. The problem was that was like a huge focal point of that whole arc. Like, Karina had an arc in the X and Y anime, and it culminated with that gym fight. So, like, realistically, I feel like that's not fair, considering this is just her returning and them having a battle. That's why I'm trying to judge her on its own merits. The main thing that kind of irks people is that Gengar did jack shit. I don't even think Gengar got a hit off. I don't think. No, because it got hit with acrobatics. It tried to return with, like, then it got hit with U-turn. Then it tried to throw Shadow Balls at Lucario and then got took out by Bone Rush. And it was like, damn, Gengar didn't hit anything. And then, so Dragonite comes out and gets hit with, I think the only hit he full-on takes is, I want to say, is high jump kick. He gets hit with high jump kick because the round trip slap, which I don't know what the actual English name of that move is, or if that actually is the name. That move I'm just not overly familiar with. Unless that's Wake Up Slap, I can't tell. The way they explained it in the anime is that he was doing Dragon Dance, and like Dragon Dance was kind of like negating the round trip slap. That's the way the anime tried to explain it. So I was like, okay, fine. But he still took a fucking high jump kick, and they traded. It's just, and it made sense why he won that trade, because he just boosted his attack and speed. Although in that sense, I feel like he should have just nailed it. But I guess Main Chao is just inherently fast anyway. So he took the high jump kick, and we saw there was visible damage on him before Lucario came out. Then he took an Aura Sphere to the face because he couldn't get the Hyper Beam off in time. And then he took two power-up punches. The first one being right after the fucking Aura Sphere, and he gets laid out with a flurry of power-up punches, which raises Lucario's attack. And then at the end, when they trade blows with the power-up punch and the Dragon Claw trade, which leads to Dragonite winning. And then you have Dragonite using Hurricane to kind of like throw Lucario off. And the whole latter half just felt like Dragonite was taking way too much damage and then still won the fight. Like, it doesn't feel right. The only thing I could say that kind of counters that argument is that Dragon Dance boosts his attack and speed, so it could justify why Dragonite only had to hit him a couple good times with a Dragon move to win. The problem is the anime doesn't acknowledge that that's what Dragon Dance does. I mean, it only acknowledges that it does that, but it doesn't do that thing where, like, when he wins the fight, they don't go, oh, well, it makes sense because Dragon Dance does double the damage. Dragon Dance is upping his attack and speed, and he did it twice throughout the battle. Dragonite's damage is, like, off the charts. It just didn't feel as fulfilling as it's supposed to, because it feels like you kind of, like, lowered. And then on top of that, we're not even talking about, like, normal Lucario. You're talking about Mega Lucario, whose power already jumps up from being Mega Evolved, on top of the fact that his attack got raised twice through the power-up punches he did. So I'm like, it came out at the end of it. At the end of the day, it felt like an unsatisfying fight for a character who I think deserved better. And I don't even like X and Y like that, and I still would say Karina deserved better than that. I feel like she should have got a two-parter, or an episode that was fully devoted to it. I hate the fact that you threw in, like, the ghost stuff and then the stuff with the filler battle in the beginning, but, like, you only give her, like, she gets, like, the second half of the episode, and then it feels like the battle's rushed. So, like, that's my problem with the fight. Like, that's my issue with the episode. I like the characterization. I like the fact that they're still consistent about the kind of... Like, she still has the same general personality. And I like the fact that, like, they remember each other, right? And they had a battle. And I like the fact that Ash kind of roasters and going, yeah, me and Ash had a battle once. And Ash is like, I won. And it was like, what? Or even the funny thing where, like, Riolu's watching the fight. And Karina's like, you're going to cheer for me and Lucario, aren't you, Riolu? And Ash is like, no, he's my Pokemon. He's going to cheer for me, obviously. Like, I like those little... like, everything else is fine. I'm either indifferent to the ghost stuff or I'm cool with, like, the characterization with Karina and everything. But that fight just left a lot to be desired. Because Karina, I think, as a character, deserved more in the battle. And I think that battle could have been handled better. I don't even have an issue with, like, Dragonite. Like I said, I don't care which one of them won. Although it does continue Ash's weird streak of, like, wins, and this one doesn't really feel like he earned it. Like, and if you're just looking at trading blows, like, bro, Dragonite took way more hits. And High Jump Kick is not a low damage move, right? High Jump Kick is not low damage. Aura Sphere is not low damage. And then Power Up Punch is not low damage, especially when coming from a Mega Evolved Lucario. Like, the whole thing just kind of reeks in a weird way. But I think the characterization was on point. The fact that, like, Ash was like, show me what you can really do. Pretty much goading her into Mega Evolution. And then had, like, this cool smile when Lucario was Mega Evolving. Like, there's a lot of cool things with these characters that I like. I just don't like the fucking fight. And I hate it because that was, like, that's supposed to be the highlight. The animation's on point in parts of the fight, too. It's just, man, that fight didn't come out the way it should have, in my opinion. And then, I think I think Karina deserved better. I think that's the main takeaway. I think as far as the battle's concerned, Karina deserved better. And we'll leave it at that. Next week is a bullshit-ass Magikarp filler that I'm not looking forward to. It'll be probably funny, and that's all it's going to get from me. And I'm like, damn it. That's why I wish the Karina stuff was at least like a back-to-back thing. Would have made me feel better. Well, essentially what's going to happen is I'm going to go for this episode, wait a week to do with the Magikarp bullshit, and then hopefully the week after is more Karina stuff. Hopefully. We'll see. Fuck. And then obviously the question is, are they going to reference any more Gym Leaders? We've only had one Kanto reference and one Kalos reference. You got, like, what is that? 5 other gens to reference, whether it's Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, or Alola. Although I doubt they're going to reference Alola anytime soon, because it's still the last region. The last region usually they try to hang back on, especially recently. Before they used to reference it directly. Now it doesn't have. Ever since Gen 5, it stopped happening. So we'll see. Although we did get the Kalos special with, I think, Silent. Was it Silent, Clement, and Brock? I don't remember. Or was it just Silent and Clement? I don't remember which. I just remember Clement didn't meet them. I don't fucking know. But leave your thoughts in the comments section below. This is probably going to be one of the more controversial episodes purely because of that fight. That fight is going to be the main point. And obviously, Serena fans are going to be tripping because it's like, where's Serena? We want Serena the episode, you bitches. But with all that being said, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. This has been your boy, Schizomaniac. Remember, you're not having any fun unless you're going just a little bit crazy. Peace! I thought I had a better movement. I did not. I am not creative. Fuck! Fuck!